This cup of coffee represents three things I love. I love cold brew, I love this saying, and I love Matt Vincent. Kick today on the dick. Tell me how this happens. So I threw all my laundry in the wash this past week. This is how my boxers came out. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? So I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video, and it's going to be like a story time. The story of Bare Performance Nutrition, BPN, and how we've gotten to the point we're at right now. Because this month is a milestone month for us. We're about to do 6 figures in that month period, which will be the first time. And if anyone's been following the company since like 2012, 2013, when I first started it, it's been exponential growth. And I'll explain exactly how we got to this point. So I actually did a video on this in the past, but I don't think it gave enough detail or context into what exactly went into BPN, so I took it down a few months ago. But I think a lot of people think that BPN is a byproduct of social media, so like YouTube and Instagram, my following there. But when I first started the company, I had no leverage, I had no social reach, I had no background in business or marketing. The only reason I was able to start it was I was at school in Indiana University of Pennsylvania on an ROTC scholarship, and right before you commission, you get the opportunity to take out a loan through USAA. Like, it's a pre-commissioning loan. Essentially, most people use it for like engagement rings, a new car, traveling expenses, a vacation. I used it and I invested in starting a company. So I bought like the minimum amount of pre-workout, which was Flight, and still is Flight at the time. And I reached out to a manufacturer and started that up. So this weekend, Preston's girlfriend's in town, Joe's girlfriend's in town. I'm like the third wheel for everyone. We're out of gas. Crap. Oh. The reason I enjoyed telling this story so much is because it wasn't a success initially like I thought it would be. So like that $20,000 went really fast. 500 bottles of pre-workout, insurance, website design, and then I got suckered into some marketing stuff. And for 3 years, we barely broke even. And that's why it took us so long to introduce new products and grow, because like we didn't have the cash flow to invest in like amino acids and creatine and protein and keep building the brand. We were stagnant because there wasn't enough cash flow. We didn't have investors. And it was really early on that I realized this wasn't something that was going to be like a get rich quick scheme. And I viewed it as an organic growth because I knew I had 4 years of active duty military service. So I was hoping that like when I got out of the military, I was transitioning, it would be successful at that point, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So to give a little bit more background, in college, I was living in an apartment with 5 other guys on like the main street where all the bars are at. I'm shipping out packages like maybe every other day, just a few through USPS. Occasionally, I would do like 50% off deals just to push product and turn inventory, and it would take an entire year for us to sell 500 bottles, which was the minimum. And looking back, like the biggest things I messed up on, which was a learning curve, a learning experience, my branding was really bad. Like our labels were pretty amateur. Our website was amateur. A lot of our graphic design and things we were posting online, amateur. And it wasn't until I started like really putting a lot of time into that, it's when I saw an increase in traffic to our site and conversions.
We're good.
Appreciate it, sir.
Later on, sir.
I found a camera store in Austin, and they have like the best stuff. So I just bought a 55 millimeter 1.8 Sony lens. So we wanted something for like more portrait stuff. We had a Sigma for a while, but Preston dropped that and broke that one. So we have this one now. So when I first started everything, I knew I needed like a competitive advantage, something to set me apart from my competitors. And from the beginning, which still stands true, like our mission has been to create supplements not hidden behind proprietary blends that were dosed appropriately and like truly would increase performance. And that's kind of what the company was built behind, our vision. But at the same time, like even if you build the best product or you offer the best service, if no one knows about it, it's pointless. You know, you're not creating any sort of demand for that supply. And that's like the first issue I ran into. Since the company has started, I've worked with 4 different manufacturers. It took me about 2 years to really find one that I truly enjoyed. It's ones we're with right now. Their flavor house is good, their chemists are good, their sales managers are very responsive. In any sort of manufacturing, you find what team's going to work best for you and what best fits your company. And that's what took us so long to find this manufacturer. Now, we did run into one problem at one point where we were working with the company. We had to go through the Better Business Bureau to get our money back just because they didn't do the flavor to the test specs that we originally approved. So that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. But we're with a company now, a manufacturer that's CGMP approved, and they're a great team to work with. And that's why we've been able to produce such good flavor profiles in our products. And then I joined the military. All right, and then I went active duty after college. And that's kind of when Preston started helping out a lot. So he was shipping orders and fulfilling orders that were coming in. And I was still doing like the behind the scenes advertising and marketing stuff as much as I could, even though like I was in infantry school, I was in ranger school, I was gone all the time. So there wasn't much growth for that next like 18 months just because I was always gone, I was always in the field, and Preston was just fulfilling orders. So from Preston's point of view, all right, so right now it's like 2013, 2014, I just joined the military. I'm at Fort Benning, Georgia right now, and like always gone. How many orders were you fulfilling a week? And like from your perspective, what was the company success rate, or where was it at?
A week, maybe 3 or 4 orders a week. Actually, no, 1 order a week probably. It was probably 1 or 2 orders a week. And I wouldn't really consider it much of a success. Yeah, it was just something to do. If an order came in every once in a while, it was filled. We could still go on vacations and stuff like that. It just wasn't much volume or anything.
How much are you fulfilling now?
No, I can get up to the upwards of hundreds in a day. So there's been 300 in a day before. Average, we could still be hitting 100 or so a day.
So the question I'm getting a lot is, where do I get these shirts? So me and Preston both wear these shirts. We either get them at PacSun or Zoomies, and you can get like each one for $15. I think I got 2 of these yesterday, a yellow one and a red one, $30 total. Now the turning point, and there was a turning point, it was about 15 months ago. So I was home for 2 weeks back in Pennsylvania on Christmas block leave. And it was at that point I was thinking about closing down the company altogether, dissolving the LLC, just because it wasn't profitable, and we were putting a lot of work into it, or we thought we were putting a lot of work into it at the time, and it just wasn't converting into sales, or it wasn't worth our effort from what we thought. So I went home on block leave, and I redid the whole website. I spent 5 days straight just rebuilding the brand, and it was like a partial rebranding. We got professional pictures done of all the products. We started putting more into social media, so building up my YouTube channel, building up the Instagram pages, reaching out to people to promote and try the products. And that was the beginning. That was just the beginning of the turning point where our sales started to increase. All right, so like my 3rd and final trip to the gym today. Tomorrow morning, I have like my final ETS physical with the military. So that's like 7 a.m. I have to print out all these papers, just take to them. And I'm on my way of like out processing now. Shortly after all the rebranding, I got orders to go to Korea, and I was going to be there for 9 months. Originally, I wasn't supposed to go. I was supposed to go to a long-range surveillance unit because I made the tryouts for that. Things changed and things didn't get approved, so I went to Korea. I thought for sure that like the company, my YouTube channel, everything would be put on hold for those 9 months until I got back. When I first got there, my brother and I made this plan, and the plan and the short-term goal was to hit $10,000 a month in revenue. And we made that happen within 30 days. So every month after that has done better than the previous, and it's landed us in this position right here where we're in our gym and then in our DC. So picking up the normal Sunday grocery haul, but of all things, I'm craving diet green tea and zucchini and squash tonight. So that's what I'm getting. All right, so this is the new lens right here. This is the 55mm 1.8 Sony. And now we're like at present day. All right, so when I was at the end of my rotation in Korea, Preston moved down from Pennsylvania. He quit his 9 to 5, moved to Pennsylvania. He found our gym location. He started moving all the inventory in there. He started distributing all the products out of there. We moved Joe down, who is filming right now, and we brought on Russ as our first sponsored athlete. And then the business just keeps continuing growing and growing each month. Now the point right now is, and what we're gonna do in the next 60 days is add more athletes onto the team and keep sponsoring athletes to grow our social reach. So keep building BPN and the awareness behind it. And that process, like this whole like video that I've talked about, that's where we started. You know, we started in the beginning where we had no awareness. No one knew who BPN was. No one knew what our products were. And it was a very, very, very small company in a very niche and competitive market. And we were able to break into that, and we keep growing and building. And it's been a great process to be a part of. So that's the video. Talk to you guys in the next one.